So here I am, just outside of Borstal, going towards Burham in the beautiful countryside area. This is where I like to come for my long walks in the summertime, particularly in the sunset. It's just beautiful, peaceful, to get away from stress. It's like my meditation in a way. So I thought with a change of plan, change of scenario out in this field here, farm field, it would be good to do my next Palace video. Now this will be just a review of the Everton, Sheffield United, and a preview for Man U and anything else that's on my mind in Palace, the Palace world. So I've got to be honest with you, although the summer transfer was shit in simple terms, I thought that Everton was a fantastic performance. If you'd have given me a point beforehand, I would have taken it straight away. It felt like it was a very solid performance. We could have even sneaked it, but Pickford is a good goalie. And so, with that in mind, I didn't really care too much about... sorry, let me start again. The loss I was expecting, thought it was going to happen, didn't. A point, very well deserved point. I think Everton fans felt more disappointed than us with a 0-0 draw, because 0-0 draws are my personal least favourite of results. It just feels so pointless and frustration, particularly if you deserve it. So I think Everton fans felt pretty disappointed that because they were expecting to thrash us. I think we expected them to thrash us with the successful summer transfer they have had. But after the full-time whistle, I thought, well, you know, it might not be too much of a bad season, or at least the start of it. And then on to Sheffield United, which I went to. Oh, very quickly, the singing section was music to my ears. Fantastic, can't wait to see more of it for the rest of the home season. Hopefully it might even develop even more, but at this present moment, it's fantastic. You know, fanatics, you are brilliant. Keep up the great work you do. So, on to Sheffield United away, where I went to. I stayed up on the Saturday night, went on Sunday, came back down to Rochester after the game. Not so good. I'm not disappointed necessarily about the result, but I am very disappointed about the performance. Yes, Patrick Van Aanholt did make a point on Twitter just now, or last night, that Sheffield United were more up for it, more challenging. It's their first time back in the Premier League since the noughties, and they had a plan and it worked. It felt like there was no attacking for us, no dangerous threat or attack. Even by the first half had ended, it felt like that Sheffield United were, if there was going to be a goal, it was going to be from them. And defence felt too scared and sloppy. We didn't have that great attack passing mind that Psycho has, and because Scott Dan and Martin Kelly aren't like that. They're more focused on solid at the back. Joe Ward is no Wan-Bissaka, and although he tried to get forwards, I feel like he was too reluctant and relying on Townsend, and the defence, both right and left, just didn't. It just feels very untrustworthy and unreliable. You know, if we'd have had Wan-Bissaka at right back and then even Mitchell or even Jeffrey Schlupp at left back, I would have been happy with that. I do hope that Mitchell, once he comes back from injury, does get promoted, but Roy Hodgson, I love him and I want him to stay, but because he's not too much of an academy manager, I can't see him giving a chance unless PVA and Jeffrey Schlupp got injured and he's got no choice but to put an academy left back in. That would be Mitchell. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I think putting Mitchell at left back, who is pretty much a left back Wan-Bissaka, would be very beneficial for us the moment he is fit again and back from training. Luke Dre, of course, is out from injury for the rest of the season, which is a shame because I would like to have seen him promoted. And Joe Ward's the only right back we've got. So we've just got to rely on him and hope that someone will arrive in January. Gary Cahill, although I'm reluctant about age, I really am pleased that we did get him on a free and we had this opportunity and we took it. And I hope that he starts. I think it should be him and Kelly at centre-back until Mamadou Sakho and Tompkins get back. I think if Mamadou Sakho is free sooner, which is likely to be the case, then I think it should be Sakho and Cahill at the back. And then I think with both Sakho's good leadership and toughness and Gary Cahill's captaincy, and leadership experience that he's had at Chelsea, they will help the defence with blocking, tackling, and going forward as well. Max Meyer, a lot of people have started to be a lot more sceptical about him and think that he probably wasn't worth signing. But I think that he shouldn't be played on the wing. If he was played in his role as an attacking centre midfielder, he would be much more better than what he is when he's on the wing, and showing his true strengths. Because at the moment he's not showing that. Benteke, I just think he should just stay on the bench for the rest of the season until his contract ends out, and then Connor Wickham, I would much rather have him up front. Although he's no better, but I certainly would trust him more to header in or kick a volley and actually make an effort. Because Benteke doesn't; he just expects the ball to come to him. So I've no interest in him whatsoever. I just want his contract to end and him to get out. Take the 120 grand that we're paying him a week and give it to someone who's actually at Palace to fight, whereas Benteke is lazy. He had his one-off, unless he's at somewhere comfortable like Aston Villa, or he might have a one-hit wonder like he did in 2016-17 when he scored 15 goals, but that's the best he's going to get. So he has to go at the end of the summer. Sorloth, I'm so glad, is gone, and hopefully we'll get a bit of money in for him. But even so, with the best that we can do, and even if injuries come back, that still isn't good enough for a right back and a striker. And I would take 17th now. I think this season will be the season that we want to finish sooner. I always look forward to football season, but it feels this is the first time ever that I can't wait for it to end, purely because of how terrible the transfer window has been. And I do think that Roy Hodgson will walk out. Allardyce and Pulis, them type of managers, would have left, but because Roy loves Crystal Palace, I think he wants to have that, much better loyal and commitment because of the connection he has with us, being a Croydon boy. And his contract ends, I believe, at the end of 2021, or in the summer of 2021. But I think that he'll just say, yeah, I've taken it as far as I can go, and if you're not going to back me in the transfer, then there's no point in me being here, and he'll just go and retire. But that's for another story. That's if that does happen. I think we're looking way too ahead in the future. We're looking at this time next year, so that should wait for another time. Just back to Sheffield United. In conclusion, I'm just really disappointed with the performance more than result. If we'd have made much more of a better attacking threat and much more greater chances at shot on targets, then I would have been at least happy and satisfied, or more confident going into Man U and Villa. But at the moment I'm not. I'm just expecting a 4-0 thrashing. And a miracle, really. Well, I say a miracle. I think that when Tompkins and Sacco come back together, or even if just one of them came back, which is likely going to be Sacco first, then I think we will see a change around. Because that's the problem with Palace. Once we have one or two players missing a good partnership, then we just completely collapse and we're lost. Once they come back, then we're, up and running again. So pretty much, I think, have said all I can about Sheffield United. These vlogs are improvised, just so you know. I don't have a script. I'll just say at the top of my head what I think of Palace on the latest news. So we've got to move on, as some of the players have said, and they've got to sort the differences out. Zaha's got to stay focused, and we've just got to hope that the performances improve and then the results. Man U, I am expecting a loss. I think we all are. No miracle where we'd bounce back again, and it's the first time we've beaten Man U in the league since 1989. They'll just easily thrash us, and I can't even see anything at Villa for the international break. I think these next few months are going to be terrible, and I think if they do keep on sliding, Roy will go, because he won't be sacked. He'll just walk out. He'll just say to the board, "You should have backed me, because I can't manage this team," and they are going to go down. Unless it's put to place in January and you've got someone better than me to establish them. But that's a bit of a theory. I don't think. I think Roy will get them back up and running again, but only time will tell. And hopefully January will be better, and this summer will just be a thing of the past. All we can do is just support the boys, just keep supporting the boys. I know it's difficult, but credit to PVA for going on Twitter and interacting with the fans and talking. Talking is very good in general and in life, and I think that getting anything off your chest or your different, speaking your differences and come to an agreement, that helps move forward. So I'm expecting a loss, but I would be pleased, or at least satisfied, if we produced a much better performance than we did against Sheffield United, and that would give me a little bit of hope for future fixtures, particularly Aston Villa on the 31st. I guess that's probably all I can say, really. I've mentioned Everton, I've talked about Sheffield United, I've talked about the Man U. There's a lot more I could say about the situation with the players and the transfer, but I think I covered most of that in the first video, and my opinion on the board. So all I can say is that all of those going to Old Trafford this weekend, have a safe journey there and back. Keep supporting the boys no matter what, and let's hope that we can survive the season. Well, thanks very much for watching and listening. Take great care. South London and proud.